The issues are the same issues that led to the protest today. And we have, he has expressed his position, made some commitment, which we are taking side by side with what the National Assembly said, the Senate said, and we're taking it back to the office with our colleagues there to review it and release a document on our next line of action. We have gone deeper into them. You know, the brokers are broader issues, but there are one or two things that need immediate attention. No one person can call it off. That's why I say we have to go back to the office so that they will look at it, the ESCO looks at it before they come up. And by tomorrow, the NSC will have equally their next meeting, you know, to look at a bigger picture.
The president tell you to suspend the protest?
The president is a pro-democratic activist, so he understands protests.
All right. So that's the NSA president. Beside him is the president of the TUC, who is now joined us live in our studio, Mr. Festus Osifo. Thank you so much, President TUC, for joining us tonight on the program.
Thank you so much, Shehu. Thank you for having me.
Good evening,
Nigerians.
You see, coming from your attire from the street.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as you showed, we're just coming from the villa. So, I mean, since morning we have been like this, actually. So, trying to draw the government attentions to the issues that have concerned to us. Yeah.
Would you say your protest today was successful?
Yes, largely I think it was because for workers all over the nation to come together and to clamor, to let the government, to draw the attention of government to the difficulties that they are facing, to draw the attention of government to the fact that it's difficult for us to even pay transport fare to work, to draw the attention of government that in the last 2 months that this fuel subsidy has been removed, that Nigerians, most especially the masses, has been passing through excruciating pains. So this is one of the forms with which Labour has to express, you know, the displeasure to what is going on in the country. So largely, we think it was successful because you saw the rally across the length and breadth of the country in Abuja here, just as you highlighted. We went to Ministry of Justice for a single reason. Then we also went to the National Assembly as well. Then later this evening, we were invited by the president to have an interaction on this same subject. So largely, I could say that the relevant quarter that we wanted their attention, we caught their attention, and we had some discussions.
Why did your people pull down the gates of the National Assembly? What happened?
Yeah, so when we got there, as of yesterday, the route with which we want to take, we communicated this to government. I mean, we had a meeting with the Inspector General of Police where we told him that this is the direction and this is the route we want to take. We also sent some people as well to National Assembly to inform them. If you check the protest today, against the expectation of government, against the expectation of naysayers, it was largely peaceful. I could not see anywhere where Nigerian workers were destroying any property. We don't do that. We are responsible men and women, and we are creators of wealth. So at that point, you know, when you have a lot of people, so we met with the police and we discussed with them right there that we're here yesterday and we informed you that we want to visit the National Assembly and we told you where we want to occupy a National Assembly and address Nigerians from there. So it was in that process as myself and the president of NLC, we were engaging the police. Then we saw the gate shattered. At the end of the day, you know, when you have a lot of people right there, it may be a bit difficult for you to completely account of how it went down. But for us, we told them the best thing to have been done was to leave the gate open because we went in, we came out, there was no single incident whatsoever.
Did the police help you in manning, providing you security?
Yes, they did. From the Unity Fountain, where we started from in the morning, so we had the police there, and their presence was quite impressive. So we marched across the streets of Abuja, and they were there. There was no single incident.
What about across the country? Any kind of skirmish? Any kind of disturbances? Because there were also those who were protesting against you. In some part of the country.
Yes, you know, the right to protest is very simple. We chose today to protest. So for those who think they want to protest in support of the hardship that they are facing, they can come out tomorrow and protest in support of the hardship. But for us,
did you meet them? Did you meet them? Because
so in Abuja,
some of them were in Abuja.
Yes, in Abuja, yes, we saw some people in Abuja, but there was no confrontation whatsoever. So we saw some people along the line, but there wasn't any issue at all. So on our own path, nobody confronted us in any way.
All right.
Then again, just to address the issue about what happened across the nation. So we are still collating reports, but from the initial report that we have that came to us, as of now, there was no any form of incident that we have recorded, but we will still go back. We are still getting reports across the length and breadth of the country. We will analyze, internalize, and we will have the final position on that.
So your people were out today. That means they were not at their duty post.
Yes, largely yes, because you can't be on the street at the same time working as well.
So it's a partial down-tooling.
But it wasn't a strike. It was a rally. It was a protest. So at the end of the day, you could see if the entire Nigerian workforce came to the street of Abuja, I'm not sure that the entire street would have been able to take the full workforce. In fact, if it's just the people in there are workers in secretariat that came out fully, it could be like times 4, times 5 of the numbers that you saw today. So we did not enforce that you mustn't go to work. Because if we had enforced that, we would have shut the gate of the secretariat and shut the gate of major institutions, agencies, and all that in the country. You could see, today you could walk into the bank, and we have our members in the bank. We didn't ask them, we did not pull them out. So it was just a protest.
Okay, so no strike?
No, it wasn't a strike.
And it's all over today?
Yes. Okay. So as of now, I won't be able to say it here fully that it's all over because immediately we left the president, we went to the office. We were trying to do some analysis, look at what the president told us vis-a-vis what was also said in National Assembly as represented by the chief whip of the National Assembly, Senator Ali Undume. So we are collating all this. We are having conversations on this. But before the next 1 or 2 hours, a communication will come out to clearly address this.
Naturally, it's supposed to go on indefinitely.
Yes, correct.
The protest, you're supposed to be on the street, marching every day. That was the plan.
Until we have some concrete commitment, yes.
All right. So let's now go, let's backtrack. Okay. Let's go to the villa. Few hours ago, or few minutes ago, when you went to the president. So you met with the president?
Correct.
Yourself and the NLC president?
And also the NUPENG president.
The NUPENG president.
Correct.
And also you had other federal government officials there, isn't it? Or was it only the president that was at the meeting?
No, we had the president, we had the GCU of NNPC Limited, we also had the essay to the president on strategy, media, and communications. Yeah, Mr. Dele Alake, he was also there. Yeah, so they were 3 on their part, on our own side as well, we were 3.
Okay. Yeah. So, and it was in the president's office?
Correct.
So, what was the demand of the president?
Yes. First of all, we let President know we told him our displeasure. We told him that a committee the last meeting we had before we set up the subcommittees was actually on the 19th of June. That we said that within 8 weeks, we are going to complete a lot of tasks and we will wind down in 8 weeks. We chose that 8 weeks because we didn't want the committee to be there in perpetuity. So that was why we restricted ourselves to 2 months. That it took a while for us to do the housekeeping and bring the committee together. And since the committees we have started meeting, we have not had some level of traction. So we brought that to the president. And we also told him that, yes, we listened to his address. And what he has brought in, what he talked about in his address could be a baseline, could be the starting point. Because for us, we think that government, that the things in that address was not far-reaching enough. And we also told him that there are some areas as well in the address that was not also talked about. Areas like the local refinery, because we learned that contract was awarded a while ago. So where are we today? When will the local refinery start functioning? Then we also made some other suggestions to Mr. President on what we think could be done in the immediate. Then on the issue of wage award, when the president made the broker, so he talked about the issue of minimum wage. But we also told Mr. President that, yes, we understand that this issue of the minimum wage may take some time because of the parties involved. You have to bring in NECA, you have to bring in, the labor, you have to bring in state governors, you have to bring, so it's a bit large. Before we could agree on minimum wage, could take some time. That what we want is something around wage award that this is what we want in the immediate, and this is what he can do with an executive order in the next few days. So we put all these to Mr. President, and at the end of the day, he gave us some level of assurances around some of these items. And I think in the next few hours or thereabout, a formal communication will be out around this. Because even on the issue of CNG, we also mentioned that. And they said that they are going to make some announcement on that in the next few days, probably between now and Friday. So for us, that was quite okay. Make that announcement. Let us have concrete terms. Let us have what you need to do with timelines. Because Nigerians today are suffering. We cannot start using medium-term solutions to solve a short-term issue, because the problem is now. So we can't say that, okay, we'll roll out some things that between now and March next year. So, I mean, between now and March next year, how many people will survive between now and then?
Let's take the issue one after the other.
All right.
The Port Harcourt Refinery and the Kaduna Refinery.
Yes.
There was a plan to rehabilitate and fix them.
Yes.
There were plans by government under the Tinubu Silva when he was Minister of State for Petroleum, and I had an interview with him that the timeline for it is passed. We were told that the whole Port Harcourt Refinery was supposed to start by December of last year. We are in August. It's almost a year after that promise he made that promise in September that the old Port Harcourt Refinery will be functional by end of December. What was the response of the president when you asked him about the refineries, local refineries?
Yes, when we asked him, so even before now, part of the things they've also said was issues around supply chain. But when we asked him, we told him categorically, tell us, when will the refinery start functioning? And what we heard from them was that by the end of this year, that the refinery, the old Port Harcourt refinery, will come on stream most definitely by the end of the year. So that was what they told us today. But again, just
how do you hold? Do you have any means of holding them accountable?
Yes. So again, you know, even then when Silva, you know, I also doubled as the president of Pengasan. So that gave me some. I mean, I have some extra information and knowledge regarding this. And again, too. Then when I was president of Pengasan, before I became president of TUC, so it's good we have full disclosure. So myself and the president of NUPENG, we sit at the steering committee of this refinery maintenance just to ensure that we keep piling pressure on government to do what was right. So as at then, when Silva made that commitment to say that before the end of last year, I addressed press and I told them that this is clearly not possible, because by what we are seeing, by the meetings we attend, we visit the refineries to see what is happening. Our members are currently there assisting them in doing some of these maintenance. That from all the conversations we have had, that this refinery cannot come on stream by the end of last year. But today, they told us that by the end of this year, that the old Port Harcourt refinery will come on stream. We tend to, because the extra information we have, we believe it is possible, but we need to keep check on them to ensure that we actually achieve that feat.
So what about Kaduna Refinery? Any updates? Did the government give you updates on that?
Yes, if you remember very well, the Port Harcourt Refinery is a total rehabilitation.
Yeah.
But the Kaduna and the Warri Refinery is a quick fix.
Yeah.
Both two refineries, they awarded the contract to DEU, but at a particular point, DEU mobilized to Warri. So, but Kaduna, they refused to mobilize because of security issues. So Warri is actually ahead of Kaduna, but as of today, they have not given us a clear timeline on that.
So the president only spoke about old Port Harcourt Refinery.
Yes, correct.
Which has, I'm trying to remember how many capacity.
Is about, I think about 60,000 barrel capacity, yeah.
And with that, and the Dangote Refinery, because that was supposed to be a buffer. Dangote Refinery, the old Port Harcourt Refinery combined, there are those who believe that we may not have any business importing refined crude into the country with those two refineries working optimally.
Yes, correct. But it's going to take some time for Dangote Refinery to get to that optimal point that you just said now. But even if Dangote Refinery is working up to 60% installed capacity, then you add that, although the Port Harcourt Refinery is quite small, but if you add that with the fact that today our consumption has come down from the reported consumption of about 65, 66, 70 million liters consumed per day, that today we now have this level of consumption somewhere around about 40, 45 million liters. yeah, these refineries could work. But again, to also state that from our findings, we pray every day and we push and so we hope that Dangote Refinery should actually come on stream, because we learned that they have not actually, they have not started the full pre-commissioning using crude. You understand? So for you to be able to know fully when the refineries will come on stream, yeah, you may have done a lot of simulations, but you need crude to put crude in there and use crude in doing some of the pre-commissioning stages. As of today, that has not commenced. So the Dangote Refinery, we are not quite sure whether it will come up between now and the end of the year. But again, as of now, they may have their own mechanisms because it's 80% privately owned that we may not know. But from our external view, we don't think that it will come into even up to 50% production before the end of the year.
So one of your demands and one of the agitation of the labor, of organized labor, is that you had a conversation when fuel went to 530 naira per liter. And a few weeks after, it went to 610 naira per liter. And labor said, no, this has to be reversed to the 500, because the conversation that we're having was around 500 naira. Did you put that before the president?
Yes. So we felt that when you are negotiating, there should be utmost good faith in the sense that, okay, we were crying, we were pushing, we were shouting that, no, Nigerians paying about 530, in some places 537 naira per liter was quite high. So we started conversations around that. Then at a point, it now went up to where to about 617 in some places. And if you go to far north, it was also much more than that. Yes, we also complained about that. So what they also told us was that it was because of the issues around exchange rate. But we also said that at times the exchange rate issues could be managed better, because for us, we feel that there is no nation in the world, there is no country in the world, from Japan to Germany, from Japan to the Eurozone, from the Eurozone to America, from America to China, that allows their currency to be 100% floated. There are some safeguards that must be put in place. So what we have also requested is that one of the problems, even beyond the issues of PMS, one of the greatest problems we have today in Nigeria is tied to the issue of exchange rate. Because literally everything we consume in Nigeria are imported, or almost everything we consume are imported. So what that means is that if you allow the exchange rate to continuously slide the way it happened between June and July, then we'll be in a major quagmire. But I'm also happy because I could see today, because talking to our members that work in banking sector, we could see that there are some level of intervention that has brought some relative level of stability. Sheung, you could recall that about a few weeks ago, almost on a daily basis, it was going down by over 50 naira. But as of today, you could see that it's been making some appreciable progress. So
did the government make commitment about taming the price? Because taming the price, to control the price, to tame the price of the product such that it is not arbitrary, and that because the government will tell you that it's being controlled by market forces. And that means that it might be dancing hip-hop or dancing Awilo the way it likes, and you find it, because there are also predictions that global price of oil might go higher than it is right now in August, and we are in August. In fact, there are those who are projecting that global price of crude might jump from 1st of August. If that happens, 610 might just be a child's play.
Yeah, so Sheung, two things actually contribute to this pump price that we pay today, majorly. One of them is what you have alluded to, that is the price of crude in international market, one. Then secondly, as well, is also this exchange rate I've talked about. So as of today, if government is able to manage, because which one is really under the control of government? It is not the international price of crude. But what is actually under the control of government normally is, that you can find a way to balance the demand, supply, to pump in more FX into the market. So if you're able to do that, when demand remains relatively constant and you increase your supply, at the end of the day, it will reduce the price a bit. So just to anchor as well, if you look at normally, internationally, except there is a force majeure, during summer, you always have lower demand for crude because during summer, you don't want your heaters and all that in the Western world that you have, but during winter, that's where you have a higher demand. All these as well, government may not government may not have the full view on what to be done on that. But the one that we think that they can manage domestically is also issues bordering on the price of, the exchange rate between the naira and
Mr.
the dollar.
Quickly before we go, this is very important. How the government will appropriate the $800 million they're getting from World Bank, did that come on the table?
Yes. So part of the, I will add that to one other item before we round up. Quickly, on that, one of the things we have said clearly, it was our push that also made government to rethink about that decision. Because, the last time I was here, I queried, or rather we, the organized labor, we queried the database. We queried that, okay, this database, break it down. Local government by local government, ward by ward, unit by unit. Break it down so that you go and paste the names in the various wards. Let people verify who are actually these people, and not faceless individuals. So we queried, and at the end of the day, I think the governors also took it up, and that also went down. So the fact that the government, as of today, they have took that back. They said they are reviewing the database. So we are also.
What about the 500 billion?
But one of the
how National Assembly said they will get 70 billion?
Yes, that was one of the flags. If you watch our program to the National Assembly, we said it before them clearly that they cannot ask Nigerians to keep tightening their belts while they are losing theirs. They are getting fat, and Nigerians are getting slim and thinner on a daily basis. That they must sacrifice, and that money that they said they want to share or use it to fix their offices, that for us, the Federal Secretariat today, if you go to some offices there, you will see that the restroom, you can't even go to the restroom. The lifts are not working, the lights are not working, and average Nigerians are suffering. So in Nigeria, we are all equal before both the law and the society. So we must be treated fairly. Then one of the issues we also raised is also the reduction of the cost of governance, which we raised before the president. We told him clearly that there must be concrete actions that you must take to reduce cost of governance, so that at the end of the day, the funds that are available will be plowed into different areas. And we must also do things to encourage made in Nigeria goods. To buy made in Nigeria products.
Did you get commitment in that regard?
They also said they are going to look at that.
All right. So finally, you saw a president that was receptive. Was that the case?
Yes, correct.
He was listening.
Yes, correct.
Did he make any concrete commitment?
Yes. So part of the commitment he made was the issues around the wage award. Our team and their team should look at it and come up with something that is workable between now and the next few days. So that is one of the things we are holding him on.
All right.
Then also, I talked earlier about the refinery as well, that they also made commitment that by the end of the year, it will come on stream. Then also on the issue of CNG, they said by Friday that they are going to make some announcements around that. So these are the few commitments we got from them.
So pending that time, Labour will go back and probably tell your people to hold on and hear from government.
So
is that the case?
We will do that review this evening, and the communication will come and I will share with you.
Thank you so much. Festus Osifo, President of the Trade Union Congress. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you so
much. And I wish you the very best, you and your colleagues, for the sake of Nigeria, for the sake of the future of our children yet unborn, for the sake of our society. Thank you so much, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much indeed.
I appreciate it.